guys, what's going on? Listen, I'm back with another video because I had a thought in my head, and when I have a thought in my head, I start to talking to myself, and when I start talking to myself, it's time to make a video. Okay, so I was asking this question because I hear a lot of women who say they don't want to be married, but they want children. And when I hear that, it really just make me start to think, and my mind starts to, boggling about stuff. I start to really, deep thinking about some things like, okay, so, and I came up with this question. So the question was, do women really think that children don't need fathers? Because it seems like it's sort of like, it's not a thought, and being raised in a single mother environment and in an environment where most of the women who got pregnant were not married. Some of them were teen mothers. And it was never a discussion, or never, nobody ever really talked about marriage and, getting married before they have children. It's just they end up with children, multiple children. And so it just begs the question as to whether women do they really even think about fathers being a part of their children's lives? Do they ever really think about the future of those children? Do you ever really think that these children are going to ask you one day, where is my dad? Like, why I don't have a dad? Because those questions do come up. I remember telling you guys about a story at the arcade place. I keep forgetting its name, where, we took the kids there, and, and there was a child there with two mothers look like. And the child was looking over at my husband and my son, and our son, basically. And he told his mother, asked his mother why he don't have a dad. He wanted a dad to be there with him. And it was quite literally sad. I felt bad for the child. And, that's why I asked, do women really think about the children and whether the children want fathers? Or is it more of a selfish thing where you're not even thinking about the children, you're only thinking about yourself? Now I'm asking a question, but I know the answer to it. And I think it's unfortunate for the children, because a lot of the choices that some women make, this is not all, is not centered around the children at all. It's all about what they want, what they feel at the moment, and they make decisions based off of that. And then when the real issue starts to present itself, then they don't know what to do, or they're looking for somebody to step in and somebody to do something to help them with this outcome. So I just think this is another reason for women to prioritize marriage and stable relationships. This whole situationship, hookup situation is a dangerous game that I think a lot of women are playing. And the reason why I say it's dangerous is because they're bringing children into the mix of all of this, not understanding fully that these children are going to be affected by this, that children need mothers just as much as your children need you. They need their fathers as well. I don't care how you feel about men, and if you think men are all dusty and all deadbeats. First off, if that's your thought process about men, you shouldn't be having a baby with anybody. If you don't trust the men, if you think they're the bottom of the barrel and you think of this, then I would please make sure that you wrap it up, tie it up, sew it up, do whatever you need to do so that you don't make a baby with them, because that child is going to suffer. So that's number one. Number two, when you're out here dipping it and doing it, you don't care about nothing else. You just care about getting to the D, and, he fine and he this, and you're not think about if you have a child with that person and that person is not ready to have a child with you, and they're not serious about you, and it's not your man, it's just somebody you dipping it and doing it with, y'all just having a good old time, but you end up pregnant, and if he decides to walk away and not want to deal with you, and you decide to have that child, understand now that you're bringing a child into a broken home, and this child doesn't have a father, and this child is going to want a father. I think if more women would think about the possibilities and how this can end up, maybe it will cause you to make a different decision. You know what I mean? If you start to think about the overall picture, first of all, look at the single mothers that are in your community or around you, or single mothers that you know, and look at their experiences. We already see a bunch of single mothers complaining about motherhood and how hard it is, how difficult it is to do it by yourself, and how the fathers don't have a part in it, and it's just making it tougher for you, how it's hard for you to go to work and, go tend to your child if your child is sick, how you can't be at two places at once, and how draining it is. So if you just look at that, that should be enough to make you decide that you don't want that hardship, that you don't want to be a single mother. And if you want a stable family, then find a stable man who wants a family, who is ready for commitment, who is there, somebody that want that. Because as much as women complain about men, they don't pick the right men. You don't pick men who want to be fathers. You don't pick men who want marriage and relationships, stable relationships. They go after the bad guys, the thugs, the drug dealers, the scammers. Y'all go after those type of guys, and you think that when you have a baby for them, that's somehow going to grow them up and make them more of a commitment type and change their mindset. And it doesn't. It never does. Because that's not the type of time that they're on. That's not what they're about. So moving forward, I just, you gotta stop being selfish. All of this cannot be a selfish act. Being in a relationship is not a selfish act. In fact, you have to be selfless. When you have children, it's not all about you. You have to consider those kids because you have to be responsible for them. So when you're going out here thinking it's all done in the name of fun and empowerment, and I can just do what I want and all of this, and you're not thinking about the possibilities that you could get pregnant by somebody who you barely know, don't have a relationship with, they don't even care about none of that stuff you're talking about, they don't care about doing it with you. Maybe that should be something you keep in the back of your mind or at the forefront of your mind, to not go and engage, but rather find a more stable man who will want those types of things in life. Because to me, I just think, and if that's something that you want as well, if that's not something that you want, baby, make sure you got the pill, the shot, whatever it is, and cover it up to make sure that you don't make a baby out here in these streets. Because a lot of these kids are suffering. And also think about your upbringing. Think about if you were raised without a father, how that made you feel. Think about how your mother had to struggle and do the best she could for you without your father being there. Regardless of how you think if he left or if he was a deadbeat or whatever, think about how that looked for you. Think about the hardships you had to face by only having your mother there. That wasn't an easy feat, according to the single mothers. So if you know that was hard for you coming up, why would you want that for your child? Wouldn't you want your child to have better? Wouldn't you want a better outcome for your child? But this is when you're thinking about the kid and not just yourself. So I just think we have to stop being selfish. You got to start looking at the bigger picture and not just what you want at the moment. Because a lot of that is why a lot of single mothers are in the positions that they're in, and they don't want to take any accountability for it. You just want to blame the man, but it takes two. He can't get you pregnant if you don't let him. It's not a miracle, baby. He had to be a part of it, and you had to be a part of it. If you said, nah, I don't want to do this, I want commitment, I want this and that, and he walked away, well, you wouldn't have a baby. So I just think we got to stop pushing the blame. You got to stop being selfish. You got to think of the bigger picture. If you go out here and fool around and you get pregnant, that child is going to suffer, because that child is going to want a father in his life. Children want mothers and they want fathers. It's a balanced thing. And if you have one without the other, these children tend to have issues. From my experience of what I've seen. And I think you're doing a disservice to the child by bringing this child into a broken home, and then that child has to pick up the pieces and try to figure himself or herself out because they didn't have a stable home with a loving, stable mother and father. Now, it is possible, but you got to go about it the right way. There are good men out here just as well as there are good women, but y'all got to find each other, and y'all got to communicate what it is that you want and make it happen, as opposed to just going out here playing around thinking that you're going to make somebody into something that they're not. So that's my thoughts for today. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.